Wednesday afternoon kind of deal, but obviously
Yeah.
that's not.
Not happening.
Let's see.
Not coming up for any reason. Oh wait.
Is that right? June 12th, 2024?
No, June 26th.
Because these are on the 12th.
Those are the 12?
12, 12, 12.
Oh no, that's just because it's the item I'm on.
Oh,
The
you're
minutes.
the minutes.
The
Oh my
minutes
God.
one.
I
They
swear.
get you every time.
I think I've done that before.
Yeah.
All right, I am in June News dashboard. Meeting viewer. Planning page.
I tried it. All computers.
Yay. Yeah, during the last council meeting, we changed the magnification on the screens, so now the voting options are within the same window. We don't have to scroll down.
Oh good.
Makes it
Okay.
easier, makes it faster.
Love that.
Only drawback is the font's just a little bit smaller, but they can go right up to their screen with their noses.
Yeah. Okay. Seems to be working.
All right, time to behave yourself.
Sweet.
Cue up some music so we can do the broadcast.
Thank you. I started the video too, so
Oh, sweet.
should be up.
Cool. Trying to bury that.
Microphone brings by the green light.
Crazy busy.
Lived in Menifee for 21 years.
Error. Yeah. Well, it's funny. All connected and started back in the day. Reception and.
I would not dress this way for you guys. So, what is it?
I was watching it.
November?
He just showed me seriously.
Is that what they say? No more than us?
Veterans School's gonna fall
It's
asleep.
not way over now because.
Hello, hello. How you doing? Good to see you. Hey, short timer.
Okay, yeah, I'll take you up on that.
Good to go? Okay, good evening. Thanks for coming out in the heat. Let's call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, could you please call roll?
Commissioner Long,
Here.
Commissioner Madrid,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Vice Chair Diedrich,
Here.
Chair Ledoux.
And I am here too, thank you. All right, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Dan, would you like to lead us in that, please, tonight?
Please stand, face the flag, hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
Thank you, sir. All right, no presentations tonight. We'll need approval for tonight's agenda. Are there any modifications to tonight's agenda?
No, there are not.
Okay, great. I'll need the commission approval for the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Public comment section for items not on tonight's agenda. Do you have any?
I do not.
Okay. Anybody in the audience would like to speak on anything not on tonight's agenda? Okay. We'll need approval of tonight's last meeting's minutes. I'm going to ask the Planning Commission for approval of the June 12th, 2024 minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving right along to public hearing items, the Velagio Villas. This is item 9.1. Could the Deputy Community Development Director please present this item?
Thank you. Good evening, Chair. Again, we have Senior Planner Russell Brown to do the presentation for this project. So,
Thank you, Orlando. Good evening, Chair Ledoux, Commissioners, and members of the public. Check, check. All right. Good evening once again. And as previously mentioned, the item before you tonight is a general plan amendment, zone change, and plot plan for Velagio Villas. The project site is located east of Interstate 215, south of McCall Boulevard at the southern terminus of Encanto Drive, somewhat near the center of the city. The subject parcel is a vacant 0.82 acre site adjacent to the freeway. And as previously mentioned, the project consists of a general plan amendment and zone change to establish a land use and zoning designations, as well as a plot plan for the construction of the 2 new apartment buildings. And the project site is not identified by the current general plan land use map, and therefore the applicant is proposing a land use designation of 20.1 to 24 residential dwelling units per acre, which is consistent with the surrounding properties. And similar to the land use map, the zoning map also does not contain a designation for the subject site, and therefore the project proposes high-density residential, or HDR zoning, which is also consistent with the surrounding area. So a little background on the existing apartment complex there. So the county approved the existing site in the late 80s and construction completed in the early 90s. The existing apartment complex and parcel was purchased by the applicant in 2013, and the project site, the vacant 0.82 acre site, was purchased in 2017 from Caltrans. So access to the project site is via 2 existing driveways along Encanto Drive. And as you can tell, the proposed project was carefully designed and integrated into the existing apartment complex, which provides sufficient access and circulation throughout. The project includes two-story buildings, approximately 22,000 square feet, or 11,000, a little more than 11,000 square feet per building. The project also includes a 600 square foot maintenance building in the southern corner of the site there. And furthermore, in order to adequately fit the buildings on site as well as have the circulation around, the project proposes to demo some existing landscaping and parking spaces identified by the red lines on the site plan there. However, even with removing some of those parking spaces, the overall site has 235 parking spaces, whereas 215 is required by the code. So the project includes a little over 21,000 square feet of irrigated landscaped area, including a landscape buffer between the proposed buildings and the freeway. The buffer includes a mix of vegetation, including Brisbane box trees, the tipo trees, and western cottonwoods, all which range in height from 40 to 50 feet, with the cottonwoods going well above that. The project also includes a 6-foot masonry block wall along the western boundary, which adds some additional buffering between the project and the freeway. So again, the project includes the 2 buildings for a total of 24 units. Each building contains 4 one-bedroom units and 8 two-bedroom units. And the applicant has agreed to deed restrict 25% or 6 units as low-income housing, which will count towards the city's RHNA numbers. And as a concession, if the city were to approve the project and its close proximity to the freeway. And then, as previously mentioned, the project also includes the 600 square foot maintenance building. So the project was reviewed against the development code and the citywide design guidelines, as well as the surrounding apartment complexes. The proposed elevations contain tower elements on the corners, clay tile roofing, decorative cornices, arched doorways and windows, simulated stone cladding, decorative shutters, and a smooth stucco exterior finish, along with other detailed treatments consistent with the architectural style. The roof lines are broken up to reduce the overall mass of the building, and the proposed maximum building height to the highest point of the architectural feature there is a little over 31 feet. The proposed architecture of the maintenance building is also consistent with the ongoing theme on site. And on the right side of the screen there are the sample architecture from the existing Bellagio Villas apartment complex. And as you can tell, it is consistent, if not an improvement, what they're proposing now over the existing. So a mitigated negative declaration, or MND, was prepared, which included a health risk assessment and noise study, along with the other common technical studies. Mitigation measures were identified, and a MMRP was prepared. Some of the mitigation measures include special MERV 13 air filters, as well as noise attenuation features, including the block wall, which will reduce possible effects caused by the surrounding environment. The public review period for the MND occurred between May 20th, 2024 and June 18th, and no comments were received on the CEQA document or on the project in its entirety. And staff's recommendation is to adopt a Planning Commission resolution adopting the mitigated negative declaration and MMRP, adopt a resolution approving the general plan amendment, or I should say, adopt a PC resolution recommending that the City Council approve a general plan amendment, zone change, and plot plan subject to the conditions of approval and the findings. So to reiterate that, this is a recommendation that to the City Council the project will be going before the city council as required for the general plan amendment and zone change. So that completes staff's presentation. If you have questions or comments, the applicant is here, as well as is our CEQA consultant. So, thank you.
Excellent, Mr. Brown, thank you very much. Do we have any questions for staff? Joe, you have a question for staff? Okay.
Thank you for your presentation. You mentioned about the sound wall in between the two new structure and the highway. Can you tell more about the dimension of that particular sound wall? How long it's going to be and how tall?
Yeah, you know, I don't have let me see if I can find an exhibit here showing the length of it. The wall runs the full length of the property from the northern point to the southern point. It does connect, it lines up with an existing block wall to the north of the project site, so it'll be a continuation. The proposed height, as called out and recommended in the noise study, was 6 feet. And again, that is also consistent with the projects that are further to the north. So it will run the full length of the property, which is, you know, a few hundred feet in length.
Sorry, excuse
Thank
me.
you.
Excuse me, sir.
We'll get to that, but I appreciate the info. We'll get to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, are you satisfied with that?
Yes, thank you, thank you. Second question, what's the existing use of that vacant land right now, or previous uses?
It's a great question. Maybe the project applicant can expand on that, but I know obviously as it sits today, it's a vacant parcel. It doesn't appear that it's been disturbed. You know, perhaps there's been some, you know, maybe mitigation weed abatement in the past, but it has not been developed. Again, it was previously owned by Caltrans, so it was part of the right-of-way, the freeway right-of-way, but it doesn't appear that it's been developed.
And that's why it doesn't have a zoning, right? Because it was owned by Caltrans.
Yeah, that's our understanding, correct.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, that's all.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and open up the public hearing. It's 6:13. Madam Clerk, was this hearing legally noticed, and was there any correspondence received?
Yes, it was legally noticed and we did not receive any correspondence.
All right, great, thank you. If the applicant is here, would you mind joining us up at the podium and state your name, please? Sure. Thank you. Is it rock, paper, scissors? Up to the podium, please. We got to get you on the mic so the thousands of people listening on YouTube can participate.
Excuse me, my name is John Ayers, and I work for the company. And I did basically a lot of the architectural drawings and coordinated with Ali Fartosh, which is the project manager. And we also brought our contractor here, which is Bobby Benjamin. And we've been working on this for 2 years. We've complied to everything that was asked by the Planning Commission.
Very good, thank you. I just have one question. Do you agree to all of the conditions of approval?
I agree to all the conditions.
Fantastic, thank you. Do we have any other questions of the applicant tonight? Okay, Joe, go ahead.
In terms of construction quality, the existing, what are the new any construction differences between existing structure and the two new structure in terms of noise mitigation?
So far, we did a little bit of a study with that. I'm not really familiar with that, but I'm sure, you know, it's vastly improved. And you can see the design is a little bit better than the old contemporary design. And we are using certain things like shutters and stuff that do kind of create a sound barrier.
Great,
And then, of course, the windows would be double pane, which is required.
right. That's what I'm hoping for, yes. Double pane windows.
I'm sure that, all the construction components and everything will be up to the city's code and standards, so.
Great, yes.
Do you want to add to that?
Chair, I just want to confirm that, yes.
Okay.
The building code standards have changed over the course of time since the original construction, and then 2 new buildings would be required to comply with the current residential building code.
Yes.
Any other questions, Joe?
For your whole new complex, for the whole existing and the 2 new buildings, do you have outdoor amenities for occupants to use?
We have areas, and we are going to put in barbecues, and we have bike racks that are required for the people. And we also are going to include, let's see, we're going to do, like electric car section that is required. So we'll have stuff that's not even there right now.
Like charging stations you're talking about?
Charging stations,
great,
which are
okay.
required. Well, we're going to have one for handicap, and then we have a section next to the north side. We're going to have EV set up. And I believe there's like 10 or 15, that's planned for the future after it's built.
So how does that work? Do you have like credit card to pay for that, or is it?
We haven't gone that far, but
Just
I,
wondered how that was gonna work.
that's a good question.
Usually it's a
Because
setup
it's-
with the charging company. You sign up with their app or whatever, and you put your card on file and you show up, and that's usually the way it works.
Or they could work with a monthly thing if it's the renter there. If they require it, maybe they work with that.
Do we have any other questions of the applicant?
Yes.
Joe?
One more. How close is your complex to any public transportation stations?
Oh, that's in the, there's nothing that close. No, that's more like in our residential area. So with our complex, it's gonna be the farthest away from the main access. So we're in the back, we're in the back towards the freeway. So we're the farthest from any access of any major road or anything.
There's public transportation on McCall, just north of this project.
Yeah, but that's the farthest point.
Right, so yeah, I was gonna mention that. I believe there's an active route on McCall Boulevard, which is probably the nearest point. But then also, sorry to interrupt, but to go back a sec, the existing apartment complex does have a pool and tot lot as well. So as this project is conditioned to do a lot merger, it essentially becomes one project. So the existing amenities that are on site, the pool and the tot lot, will be accessible to the residents of these 2 new buildings as well.
Thank you.
John, did you want to say something about the fence size, since that was brought up?
Well, I'm sorry. Well, I made a mistake. I was talking to the contractor, and then I think the back part of the fence is around 400 feet long.
And it's going to connect to an existing block wall that's already there
Yes.
for the existing building.
Yes, and attached to the existing from the new area, we're gonna
Okay.
put that in.
I wanted to make sure you got that out if you wanted to, so, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate
Okay, thank you too.
it. Madam Clerk, were there any requests to speak on this item?
There were none.
Really?
I know.
Okay. All right, I'm going to close the public hearing then at 6:19. Do we have any questions amongst ourselves or discussion that we'd like to have on this project? Okay.
It seems like a no-brainer. I'm just happy to see that we're finally going to add to our arena numbers on that section that's been a few years since we've added to it, so,
Yeah, and thank you for doing that. That's a great addition.
for the low-income units, thank you for that.
All good? Okay. So there are,
I'd like to say it's going to make a great addition to the community. Thank you, guys.
all right, there are 2 resolutions for adoption, and we'll need a motion in a second to adopt the resolutions per staff recommendations. All right, that passes. Congratulations, you guys got to go through city council. They're a lot tougher than we are, so good luck with that. We got a lot of exciting things left on the agenda tonight. If you don't want to stick around, I'll give you some time to walk out if you'd like. Thank you very much. Yep, thank you guys for coming. All right, our usual favorite section, the Community Development Director comments. Do we have any comments from our illustrious leaders?
Thank you, Chair, members of the commission. Just one quick update for you this evening. Several meetings ago, you had asked or reported a large pothole on a piece of property along Newport Road. That should be fixed in the next week or two. I did get an update yet last night from the property owner that they've walked the site with the contractor, and that work should begin and be completed soon.
This is the one behind the mobile? Excellent news. Look at us moving and shaking. Thank you.
Any update on movement on the theater at all?
As you are aware, the council adopted a resolution ordering public nuisance and gave 30 days for the property owner to abate. That is, the 30 days is up July 5th, so.
Has the property owner indicated his intention of what direction to go as far as doing anything or letting the bond tear everything down?
I don't have any additional information.
Next Friday is the day. Thank you. Do we have any reports on committee activities? I understand there was a meeting the last night. I'd like to hear about that a little bit.
Chris, you want to take it or you want me to?
Go ahead.
So last night for the new Innovation District, the specific plan, had a opening workshop that invited the stakeholders, community members to it, and it was actually a pretty fantastic turnout. This entire room was packed and overflowing. Fire marshal was here because there were so many people in attendance, so it was a great little introduction to it to get it kicked off, and had the residents contribute their ideas and thoughts for what should go into that area. So it's a good start to the project.
Did you hear anything that was kind of exciting, in your opinion, as far as ideas from
Residents?
Yeah.
I mean, people, that's for entertainment, sit-down restaurants, mortgage-paying jobs, right? I mean, the things that
typical stuff.
That's stuff that we all want here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Want to add anything? Okay. Any future agenda items from the Planning Commission? All right. It is 6:23. This meeting is adjourned.